Alright guys, so what we're going to look at today is basic flint and steel ignition. I have a tin of the char cloth that we made yesterday. I have a fully processed tulip poplar bird's nest, which the main difference between a bird's nest and a tinder bundle is that a bird's nest is more finely crafted. So you have fine, medium, and coarse material instead of just a big ball of whatever. Once we light our piece of char cloth, we're going to put it in the very center of the bird's nest where the egg would go, and that's where the most fine material is. Now I have my steel striker that I made out of a file that's been hardened, and I have a good piece of flint. So let's talk a little bit about how this works. Now, just like a ferrocerium rod where you're scraping particles of metal off of the rod that then ignite with the oxygen in the air, you're basically using a piece of flint to take pieces of steel off of this striker, and those will ignite. So basically, this is the spine of your knife, and this is your ferrocerium rod, if you're talking in those terms. So a lot of people, when they try to do flint and steel, they just start banging stuff together. And you can see I got a couple of sparks, but if you really want this to work well, you need to put this at an angle to where it's basically slicing the edge of the rod, or the striker. You can see that gives us quite a few more sparks. And if this were a brand new sharp piece of flint, those would be even bigger and better. So again, make sure that you are trying to cut or slice metal off the edge of this striker, and you're going to do pretty good. So now let's talk about where we place the char cloth. Some people like to set the char tin on a stump or on the ground, and then hold their striker here and knock sparks into that. I've never had much luck with that method. I just can't get very good sparks to land in the tin, so I prefer not to do it that way. What I like to do is pull a piece of that charred material out, and I'm just going to use part of this. That's another important thing to understand. We need to save that charred cloth or charred material, because we can always make more of it, yeah, but we need to make sure that we have plenty in case we can't make more of it for some reason. And since today is very dry weather, I'm going to not use as much as I would if it were wet weather. So what I prefer to do is take that charred material and kind of fold it up like that. Place the edge of it right next to the edge of my flint, and then strike it so that when those sparks come up in the air, they're hitting that cloth. So I hope it's kind of dark enough out here for you guys to see this. Basically, I'm just trying to bounce sparks onto this cloth. Sometimes you get it on the first strike. Sometimes it can take quite a bit of time before you actually get that to ignite. Okay, so you can see I got one spark to hit that cloth, and now it's on fire. So I'm going to put it right in my bird's nest where the egg would go if this were a real bird's nest. And I'm just going to blow on that a couple times to kind of get it nice and hot. Now I'm going to fold the nest around it. Just going to push that down in there. Fold the nest around it. Now I'm going to blow so that heat rises through the bundle and heats up all the material. When you see smoke rolling out the back, it's about to go into flame, and you can blow hard. Now flip that upside down and sit it down very gently. Flipping it upside down is going to let that heat those flames rise through the bundle, and sitting it down gently is going to keep you from accidentally smothering that flame. So, flint and steel is once you understand it, it's not hard to do. It just takes practice like anything else. And the smart thing to do is every time you build a fire, make more charred material, because flint and steel uses up less of your resources in your kit than matches or a lighter or even a ferrocerium rod. And char cloth is something that you can run out of, but it's easy to make, and you can make it from things that are just in the woods. So that makes flint and steel a very good fire option if you have the time. I'm just gonna smother that. Well guys, I want to thank you for joining me out here today. I hope that you were able to learn something from this video on how to do flint and steel fire. Now the next thing to do is go out and try it yourself and figure it out. I want to thank you guys for watching this video.